This whole situation has shaken me completely. For context, my husband and I have two amazing children: our biological son, David, and our adopted daughter, Anna. They are both the same age and have always been very close. My husband and I had had trouble getting pregnant, so we had decided to adopt. A woman had already chosen us to adopt her child when I found out that I was pregnant. She was 7 months pregnant, and so we had to make the choice of whether we still wanted to adopt her child very quickly. Both of us realized that we would like our child to have a sibling, so we went ahead with the adoption, and we received a beautiful baby girl who we named Anna. Roughly 6 months later, I gave birth to a boy who we named David. I want to make it clear that we have never differentiated between our children. We have always treated both of them equally. They both always had to follow the same rules, got the same treatment, gifts, etc. Currently, they are both 18 and were just about to graduate high school when all of this took place. Both of my kids are very smart and study very hard to get good marks. They have both applied to Ivy League schools, so they both knew how important their senior year was to their chances, which is why they had been working even harder recently. They both had been taking their exams very seriously and studying for them in all of their free time. Anna also plays tennis while David plays basketball, and they are both part of their school's debate and quiz teams, which means they had done nothing but focus on their studies and extracurriculars for a couple of months. The reason I'm emphasizing this is to make it clear to everyone reading that both of my kids worked very hard for their achievements. They both passed their exams with flying colors. Anna came first in class, while David came third. We were incredibly proud of them for this, so we took them out to dinner to celebrate. Everything was going really well until the school's principal announced at the PTA meeting that Anna would be the valedictorian of the class at the graduation ceremony. For anyone who is not from here, the valedictorian of the graduating class is the best performing student of the class. They represent their batch and give a speech at the graduation. When the principal announced that Anna would be valedictorian, I was very excited, and many of the other parents also congratulated me on Anna's achievement. But before I could thank the principal, one of the other moms created a huge issue. This woman is the president of the PTA and always brags about how smart her daughter is. She is always boasting about how her daughter is the best and how no one can compete with her. I'm going to call her Karen for this post because the name just suits her perfectly. Anyway, Karen got up and started yelling about how her daughter had been robbed and that my daughter must have cheated somehow because she couldn't have beaten her daughter otherwise. It was a very awkward moment because no one knew what to say. Finally, the principal called her over and told her that Anna had beaten her daughter, Emily, fair and square. Karen refused to just accept that her daughter had lost to Anna. The principal tried to explain to her that her daughter would still be a salutatorian, the honor that goes to the second highest rating member of the class, but she just refused to listen. She started yelling about how my daughter doesn't deserve to be the valedictorian because she isn't even my real daughter, and the honor should go to her daughter. I was very angry when I heard her say that Anna was not my real daughter because it was a vile thing to say. Anna may not be my biological daughter, but she is as much my child as my son is. I told Karen to calm down before she said anything else. I told her she should just be proud of her daughter for coming second, instead of trying to accuse my daughter of cheating. Instead of listening to me, she just told me that I didn't deserve to feel proud of Anna because it wasn't even because of me or my genes that she had come first. She said that Anna's achievements are because of her real parents and not us. She also said that her daughter, Emily, should be valedictorian because she hadn't gotten teachers to sympathize with her by telling them a sob story. She was clearly trying to imply that Anna had only gotten good grades because her teachers felt sorry for her. I could not believe that an adult would actually behave this way. I told Karen that her behavior was awful and that she should be ashamed of the fact that she was attacking a child just because her ego was hurt. While some of the other parents voiced their support for me, most of them just kept quiet because Karen ran the PTA like a dictatorship. She never listened to anyone's suggestions or ideas and just forced everyone to do things exactly how she wanted them. The other parents just went along with it because they knew that her husband donated a lot of money to the school, and it's easier to just agree with her than to listen to her lord that fact over them. I knew that Karen would try to bribe the principal into giving her daughter the position of valedictorian, but I wasn't going to let that happen. Before she could do anything, I asked the principal to make the choice official and announce it on the school website, knowing that it wouldn't be retracted once it was posted there. The only way the valedictorian could be changed then was if Anna decided to step down herself, but I knew she wouldn't do that because of how hard she had worked to get that position. Karen decided to walk out of the meeting once that happened, but before she left, she whispered to me that she wasn't going to let Anna get away with stealing from Emily. I was hoping that once she calmed down, she would let it go, but I should have known that would never happen. That night, we threw a small party with close friends and family to celebrate Anna's achievement. It felt so good to see her enjoying her moment with all of us. However, the next day, when Anna came home from school, she was crying and refused to talk to me about it. She just locked herself in her room and refused to come out. She didn't even come to eat something. I asked David what had happened in school, and he told me how Emily and her friends had taunted Anna and made her feel bad about being named valedictorian. Apparently, they had cornered Anna and told her that no one liked her. They told her that even her real parents hadn't liked her, which is why they had thrown her away like trash. They said that we had only taken her in out of pity and that everyone else also pitied her, which is why she had been given the role of valedictorian. Now, I want to say that Anna's biological mother was Asian American, so she looks different from my husband David and I. This is why we had explained to her when she was young that she was adopted, but that didn't mean that we loved her any less. However, the fact that she was adopted did make her feel insecure, which is why she was so hurt that those girls said those things. The next day, I was still furious at how my daughter had been treated, so I decided to go talk to the principal of the school and discuss what needed to be done about the situation. When I told the principal what had happened, he was also very angry. He decided to call all the girls that David said were involved into his office and ask them what had happened. While Emily kept denying the whole situation and said that Anna was lying, one of her friends actually told the truth. She said sorry and told us that she was just a bystander and that she hadn't expected Emily to be so mean to Anna. When the principal heard that Emily was the ringleader, he told her that there was no way he was going to make a bully salutatorian of the class. He also told her that if she didn't apologize to Anna, he would write to New York University, where she had been admitted, and resend his letter of recommendation and inform them of her behavior. The university had a zero tolerance for bullying policy, and they would definitely cancel her acceptance if they found out. Emily was very angry that the principal hadn't taken her side, but I was glad that I had gotten justice for Anna. The next day, the teachers were busy in school preparing the diploma for the upcoming graduation, so the kids had been given the day off from school. I had gone to the grocery store in the morning to restock. I was halfway through shopping when I got to a very frantic call from David. Emily had told Karen what had happened with the principal, and instead of scolding her daughter, Karen had decided to break into my house and drag Anna to the school to force her to tell the principal that she had lied and that Emily deserved to be valedictorian. I left my shopping in the middle to rush to the school. When I reached the principal's office, I saw Anna crying with Karen yelling at her while Emily smirked. I immediately went to hug Anna and asked the principal what the hell was going on. He told me that Karen and Emily had just brought Anna to his office saying that she wanted Emily to be valedictorian in her place. I wiped Anna's tears and told her to tell both of us exactly what had happened. She said that Karen and Emily had just pushed their way into our house and forced Anna to come to the school with them. They had told her that it was her fault that Emily had lost her position as salutatorian and that she better give up her valedictorian position to Emily to apologize. The principal was furious when he heard what they had done. He told Emily that he had warned her about her behavior, and because she hadn't listened to him, he was going to call New York University and tell them about what had happened and resend his letter of recommendation. Karen and Emily both tried to beg him to reconsider, but he refused. Karen even offered him money to let her daughter remain salutatorian at least, but he just called for the security guard and had them removed from the office. I took Anna home and we had a nice relaxing day and put the whole situation behind us. This was 2 weeks ago. Yesterday, David and Anna had their graduation. Anna was valedictorian, and because David had been third in the class academically, he was automatically made salutatorian when Emily had been removed. Both Anna and David had gone into their first choice colleges. Emma was going to Columbia University, while David was going to Dartmouth. Last I heard, NYU had rescinded Emily's acceptance and she was going to have to attend community college for 2 years before transferring somewhere else. This happened shortly before Christmas, but I'm still mad about it. My housemate and I, both 23-year-old men, went to a bar near our house for a couple drinks. We get there and my housemate, P, recognizes the barmaid as a friend that was in his UNI course. I'd met her once before and liked her well enough. So we're sitting at the bar talking to her about work, life, sex, aliens, alcohol, whatever. P and I are getting real tipsy at this point and notice a guy coming in wearing sunglasses. It's 10 p.m. and the bar is dimly lit, in a matrix coat and standing at the bar doing nothing. Thinking nothing of it, a few hours and a few more drinks later, we're on our way out the door and I ask for 3 Jaeger bombs, one for me, one for P, and one for the barmaid. She says, 4 bombs coming up. I told her no, I only ordered 3. Yeah, 4, that's what I said. She holds up 4 fingers and smiles cheekily at me. I put one of her fingers down and said slowly that she could pour 4 if she wanted to, but I was only paying for 3 of them. That's not how this works. You buy 4 drinks, you pay for 4 drinks. I told her again, I only wanted the 3. And who was supposed to have the last one? She points at frickin' Neo, who hasn't said a word to us the entire time, but who is now staring intently. But I don't know him, barmaid. She looks at me surprised and says, I know him. He's my friend and he looks thirsty. I tell her she can buy him a freaking drink then, turn and walk out. Now, I didn't refuse out of spite. If I go to a pub, I bring cash with me so I know how much I can spend and I don't spend any more. I had just enough cash left for 3 bombs, and even if that wasn't the case, it was the fact that she didn't take no for an answer. That really pissed me off. I think she could tell that I was getting pissed off with it. I hope so, because that's just completely not the way to interact with people. It's a nice pub, but that whole encounter just left a sour taste in my mouth. So much so that if she's working, I simply won't go there. It really ticks me off if especially girls try to take advantage of girls like that. When I was at UNI, a friend and I went out to a pub one night, and after about 2 rounds, him beer, me coffee, as I was driving, 3 girls came over and started chatting to us a bit. But as we were in our own convo, he just found out his dad had cancer. We weren't in the mood for girl company as him and I were busy talking through it. Another 2 rounds later, we asked for our bill, and it is not our bill. Loads of shooters and some cocktails. We told the waiter, no, we had 4 beers and 3 coffees. To which he said, those girls said we were all on one tab. We then looked outside and saw them standing there. The bar had big open doors and windows, so you could see most of the street outside. I asked him if he confirmed it with the person paying the bill, and I saw him going a bit pale. I told him he better go stop them before they leave because I'm not paying for their drinks, which was 5 times the amount ours were. I left just enough cash for our drinks on the counter. He ended up getting them, and they threw some choice words our way when they passed us. I just flipped them the middle finger when we passed them. Too many girls get away with it, that is why they continue. Completely out of line. I could understand her side somewhat if the guy had joined you, but not for the complete stranger standing off to the side. I once joined 2 friends and coworkers at a bar one day, and while I was in the bathroom, they ordered shots on my tab. Once I found out, I was pretty annoyed. I had told them I would have happily purchased them for us if they had asked, but it wasn't okay to just go do it without my consent. They were completely dumbfounded and couldn't fathom why asking permission made any difference if I was willing to buy them. Even used the "it's only X dollars" argument. Just like them and your barmaid, some people are happy to spend someone else's money, and see nothing wrong with it. I live in Michigan, and we get a lot of snow. Snow that needs to be shoveled so that we can use our sidewalks and driveways. After a snowstorm that left about 9 inches on the ground, my mother decided that she would be coming over to my house for something. I knew my driveway had to get shoveled for her. As I went outside, I noticed a car parked on the street blocking my driveway. The entitled male driver, EM, was waiting for his child to get out of the junior high school on the next block to give him a ride home so that the poor kid wouldn't have to slog his way home through all of that snow. Insert eye roll here. And since I'm out shoveling, that kid could just use my clean sidewalk and driveway to gain access to the car. So I signaled to EM that he needs to move as this is my driveway. EM opens his newspaper and then proceeds to read it, totally ignoring me. So I started shoveling. 15 minutes later, about halfway through my shoveling, I stop and try to get EM's attention again by knocking on his window. EM looks at me, then goes back to his newspaper. Frustrated, I go back to shoveling. Then I got the awesome idea. I took the next shovelful of snow, and instead of throwing it over the grass on the side of the driveway, I threw the entire load onto his front windshield. EM looked up. I ignored him and threw a second shovelful of snow onto his car. EM started yelling at me, so I just shrugged my shoulders and signaled him to move his car. After some choice words, he did. My mother was able to pull into my driveway about 10 minutes later. I have absolutely no idea where EM finally parked to pick up his child. Not my monkey, not my circus. God damn, I hated living behind the local high school for this precise reason. Idiots would park in front of my house and my driveway. I would come home from work, school, and have to stop in the street to ask them to move. Most of the time, I'd get excuses, but they would move. Hated having to deal with those idiots. So glad I moved, even if I really liked that house. My brother is a firefighter with a station near a school. There are big signs stating, "Don't block the driveway." People do. My brother said if they have a run, they'll pull out bumper of the truck to the side of the car and just lay on the air horn until they move.